I feel like it's been a couple of weeks since I have done a live video, except for the one I did while I was on vacation. But yeah, I was on vacation for like 2 weeks and I totally just kind of like unplugged. I wasn't planning on unplugging, but I kind of unplugged and I really think I needed that to recharge, refresh. And so now I'm back. Yay. And I want to get into talking about kind of what we've been talking about before I left, which is I've kind of have a theme this month. It's all about like pricing your products and how to do that and what's the best course of action to do that. So we're also talking about mistakes when it comes to pricing. So I'm really excited to talk today about this topic because I feel very strongly about it. And I see a lot of people doing this, especially when they're first getting started. They're underpricing their products. And we'll get into the reasons why people do that. We'll get into the reasons why it's a big mistake to do that, and then how to avoid doing that at the end. But real quick, I just want to kind of paint you a picture of kind of what I'm talking about. So, have you ever kind of been like walking down the street or in the mall or something, and you see something in a shop window and you're like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. I'm going to go in and check that out. Of course, we all have done that. That's just your basic window shopping. So you're in the store, you're looking at things, you're picking things up, you're always checking the prices, right? If you're always anything like me, I'm always like, oh, what's this going to cost? And then something happens that's kind of shocking. You expect the thing to be one price, and then you look at the price tag and it's like way lower than you would expected. And so you're a little confused at first. And at first you might be like, oh, cool, this stuff is really cheap, awesome, score. But then you might start thinking, wait a second, why is this stuff so cheap? What's wrong with it, right? You might start to wonder if the leather is really poor quality. If you're looking at leather goods, for instance, you might start to wonder like, oh, what kind of leather is this? Maybe it's not great leather. Maybe it's that like genuine leather that really is kind of like the crappy leather. Maybe the hardware is really low quality, or worse yet, maybe it was mass produced in a factory, right? All these things are going through your head, making you kind of figure out why the price is so low. What's wrong with it? So I want to talk about why this happens and how you can avoid being that seller that's giving your customers that wrong idea, that's putting your customers down that path. So here are 3 ways. I'm going to talk about 3 ways that underpricing your leather goods is actually hurting your business. Number 1, when you underprice, you're sending the wrong message to your customers. Pricing your leather goods too low because you don't think people will buy it for a higher price, that actually sends the message to potential customers that your products aren't worth purchasing or that they are of low value, right? Oftentimes a low price will signal to a buyer that the value of the product is low. So when comparing 2 products and debating which one to buy, your customer might actually choose the higher priced product because they think the value of the higher priced product is actually means that it is worth more than the cheaper product, right? So they're thinking like, why is this so cheap? And I'm not talking about inflating your prices to just make them higher for the sake of higher. I'm talking about like, if you're selling, for instance, if you're selling these sunglasses that most people know a pair of sunglasses is going to run them $10, $15, $20 in like a department store, maybe even more. If you're selling these sunglasses for like 50 cents, you're going to be like, what's wrong with these, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just making your prices higher just for the sake of higher. I'm talking about valuing your products and pricing them at the value that they're worth. So if the actual value of your product is higher than what your price tag is, you're sending the wrong message cheap product, cheaply made, cheap materials, etc. That's the message you're sending to your customers when for most of you, that couldn't be further from the truth. You spend a lot of time, you use really high quality materials, you hand make your products, so that value needs to be captured in that price tag, right? Number two, when you underprice your products, you attract the wrong customers. You're attracting the wrong customer base with these low prices. So this is another common mistake that new leather goods business owners and anyone who makes any kind of handmade product, you make the mistake to price your products low right now, and then you think, I'll price my products really low right now, I'll get some sales under my belt, and then I'll raise them later on. So this thinking, it kind of makes sense, right? But it becomes a real challenge because the customers that you're attracting with this low price point, these are not going to be the same customers that are going to buy at a higher price point. These are two different customers, right? The lower price point is probably going to attract those bargain shoppers. And I hear a lot of people talking about how frustrated they are on the Facebook groups and in forums with the bargain shoppers, people that are just looking for a deal. So if you are pricing your products at a really low price, you're attracting those people. And when you go to raise your prices, those people are going to be gone. And you're going to have to rebuild your customer base. You're going to have to rebuild everybody that you are targeting as a potential customer. So essentially, you're building a following and a targeted customer base based on that short-term goal, that lower price tag, and not the long-term goal, which is the higher price tag, which is the actual value of your product. So you might as well start to attract and build the right customer base out of the gate, right? From the very beginning. Why try and attract this one customer base when that's not really the ultimate goal? Number three, and if you're just joining me, I'm going to go back then and talk about how you can avoid this and what you should be doing instead. Number three, low prices don't allow you to make a profit, right? So this is a very practical reason for not underpricing your goods. When you underprice your leather goods, are you making a profit? Are you breaking even? Are you making a tiny profit? For instance, when you sell a handbag that you spent maybe 10 hours making for $100, you're not running a sustainable business. You're not even breaking even when you consider those costs of the labor, let alone the materials cost and overhead. And when you don't take into consideration the business as a whole, chances are your business is not going to be sustainable, meaning it's not going to last. You're not going to be able to grow it, scale it. You're not really going to be able to create this sustainable business. And while you might be thinking, yeah, but I'm selling out of those bags, of course you are, because people are like, this is a deal. And while that feels really good to have those sales and to have people buying your stuff, it doesn't matter if you're not making a profit that can be invested back into your business so that you can actually grow your business. Do you know what I mean? If you're selling something, but you're not getting the money back, you're not able to reinvest in your business, you really basically just have an expensive hobby, right? Because you need those profits in order to grow. You need those profits to be able to purchase more material, maybe start to purchase material in bulk that in the long run will save you costs, you know, or maybe you want to purchase new tools that will make your production process easier, faster, quicker. These all take money. And if you're not someone who has this endless stream of personal funds and you don't want to be always having to personally fund your business, this is where your profits come in and why it's so important to really pay attention to that. So what do we do instead? So how do we price our products for what they're worth? Here are a few key tips to keep in mind. You want to send the right message to your customers about your product with your price tag. You know, your low price is more likely to attract the bargain shoppers, like I said. So you want to price your products for the actual value. Use your real materials costs, your labor costs, everything that goes into it, all the costs that are costing you to make your leather good, you have to include that in your price and then decide from there how you want to price. But at the very minimum, that has to be covered. And then from there, that's kind of like your break even point. From there, you can decide how much profit you want. And I've talked a lot about pricing before. I have a really great blog post. Maybe I'll put it in the comments about pricing and the formulas that I use, and then how to go from, okay, this is the price that the formula spit out at me. How do I tweak that? How do I know where to go from there and how to actually price my leather goods? Number 2, start attracting and building the right customer base up front instead of trying to just build any customer base, that might include the bargain shoppers. Really go for that targeted customer. You have to know who your customer is, and you want to be attracting them from the very beginning, because it doesn't matter. You could have 1,000 subscribers that are full of bargain shoppers. Maybe there's some that are your customer in there, or 100 of your targeted customer base. I would take the 100 any day over that massive amount that isn't really your audience, that doesn't really represent your audience. These people are not really going to buy. So it's not really worth it for you to attract them. It's more worth it for you to start at the very beginning, attract the customer, even if it takes you a little bit longer, even if it seems like it's slower. You don't want to have anything to do with the customers who aren't going to buy from you. You want to attract the people, send the right message to your customer base that actually wants what you have to sell, and they have the money to buy it. So save that time and really start attracting that kind of audience right now. And then finally, you want to pay attention to your profits. You need profits in your business in order to be building and growing your business. Like I said before, you don't want to be self-funding this forever. I know sometimes when we start businesses, there is an initial investment from you as the owner. That's just how it goes. Whether that's a loan you get from a bank or whether that is your own savings, of course, you invest that into your business. But if that's you constantly having to invest in your business out of your own personal funds, and it's not your profits that are going back into the business, you don't really have a business. You have an expensive hobby that you are funding with your personal funds. And the whole point is, I think this is most of you, if you're watching this, your goal is to create a business, a brand, a company that can actually earn money and earn enough profit so that you can get paid as well. A lot of times we forget about that part and we say, oh, we'll pay ourselves later. Sometimes I feel like that's more of the hobbyist who is just trying to sell things here and there on Etsy. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're someone who really wants to start earning your paycheck from your business, getting a regular paycheck so that you can support yourself, your family, whoever else, you really have to pay attention to your profits up front. I think that your profits should drive your business decisions always. This is how you build a business that lasts and one where you actually get paid, because it's all about the money that is coming in and out of the business. So pricing is just one of the major components of building a sustainable business. You all know that there were so many other things like marketing and sales and setting up your website and all of that and learning about your customer. But you really want to make sure you have this pricing piece really right from the very beginning. So that's what I have. A couple of announcements. I am working on a new training. It'll probably be ready in 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks. And it's all about pricing. So I just wanted to give you a heads up now. It's just a free training that I've been working on. I kind of want to do more of those because I really like doing those. I think they're really fun and I enjoy that live video, obviously. So I am working on that. So if you're thinking I'm still confused, I have no idea how to price, stay tuned for that. I'll send the email out about that. So make sure you get on my email list. You can head to leatherbeast.com And I have 2 freebies right there on the main page. It's a freebie for if you want to start making leather goods. So if you're not quite ready to sell your leather goods, you haven't even made a leather good yet, you might want to click on how to make leather goods, and I give you a little roadmap for how to get started for that. And then if you are selling or you are interested in selling, you can click on and take the quiz, how to find out what kind of business owner you are. It's really fun. It's easy. It's just only about 6 or 7 questions, and then that'll spit out your results, and you'll be on my list. So you'll get the information about the free training in the future. I really hope this is helpful, and I would love to know if you are on Facebook or on here on Instagram. In the comments, tell me, are you underpricing your leather goods? Do you have a low price on your leather goods because you think it will attract more customers? I'd love to get the conversation started and hear what you think. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I will see you later. Bye. See you later.